Hi everybody, Matt Cison here. Welcome back again to my blog in which I get to share some thoughts so I don't have to keep it inside of my own head. So today I want to talk about the varying degrees of emotional releasing. Right? One of my biggest pet peeves is when somebody comes to me and they're coming to our boot camp, or they're coming to me personally, and they say, "Matt, everything you're teaching me, that's it. This is the holy grail, and I can now let go of everything that I've learned, everything that's happened in my life, because you've just taught me the holy grail." Or they may come up to me, or somebody I may be talking to somebody else, right? And they'll tell me about a technique that they've learned from somebody else, right? Somebody they made their guru, and they'll say, "Oh my God, he's the greatest, she's the greatest, you've got to learn this. I've let go of everything else so that I can just do this." Yep, there goes my dog. You guys, so I sit back there, I go, whoa, wait, relax, okay? You're at a point in your life where what you're learning is perfect for your life at this particular moment, right? It will evolve. It doesn't mean that you have to let go of what you're learning now, but stay open to idea of letting it evolving even more. I know that I've evolved a lot. Things that I thought were absolutely true in the past, and this is the only way to do it, have evolved quite a bit. You'll make your life a lot easier if you just allow yourself to flow and not hold on to one particular thing. Right? So I want to talk about the varying degrees the varying degrees of emotional releasing. The further you are from balance, the further you are from peace, and if you're having a physical challenge that may be related to an emotional, holding on to emotional stress, the further you are from homeostasis, the more involved your emotional release will probably need to be. The more that you're probably going to have to go deeper inside of yourself to pull up what needs to be acknowledged, to look at the scenes, the events, the feelings, the emotions, the the experiences in your life that you're holding on to. The more you've released what you needed to release and moving closer to homeostasis and balance, the lesser the degree of the emotional releasing you're going to need to do to stay healed. Hopefully that makes sense. So there's this wide spectrum. And remember, one of your body's designs is to try and help you release as much of the stuff that you've held on to before you die. Your body actually wants you to die peacefully. Right? So the more that you have repressed, the more that you've held inside, I actually throw the word repressed, let's say holding on to, right? Held on to. The more that you've held on to, if you continue to hold on to it, and all of a sudden it may have created some kind of physical ailment, right? And remember, especially like something terminal, although your body systems haven't been functioning, this whole time your body has not been trying to kill you. This whole time your body has been trying to wake you up to what you've been holding on to. The closer you are on your deathbed, the more all that stuff has to come up for you again to, one, come back to health, or two, move out of this world and transition out peacefully. The more you've got to connect the dots. The more where you will start seeing why this has affected your life, why this has affected your life, why this has affected your life. Perfect example of this is Anita Moorjani's book. If you don't have it, get it. Dying to Be Me. She was on her deathbed. She was in a coma. Went into wherever world, whatever situation, spirit world if you want to call it, went out there and saw her entire life. Saw how all the pieces came together, and she made the conclusion from seeing it all from a higher perspective, right? A higher perspective, it came from a deep physical illness. Remember, it's the body that brought her there. From a higher perspective, saw that she was just over-giving herself to everybody around her. She was overextending herself, and she was moving away from her own intuition, her own way of what her life should be like from her spiritual views, from her standards. She came back into her body. Something like 3 days later, 75% of the cancer was gone. I think a couple weeks later, it was all gone, because she put everything together, right? So the closer you are to that deathbed of yours, hopefully you're not there, right? The closer you are to having very strong physical elements, the more you need to bring everything up to the surface to connect the dots, to see why things have happened in your life, because there's a spiritual message in the sequence of your life. Okay, so we have this wide spectrum. So again, let me reiterate what I said. The further you are away from peace, balance, and if you have a physical ailment, homeostasis, the deeper and more involved your healing is going to have to be. Why? Because as I've said many times before, when you came into this world, your body and you made an agreement. Your body said, I will hold on to these particular feelings, emotions that you can't express, because you've got to survive, you've got to function until you're ready to look at it. Unfortunately, many people have never looked at it. They've kept it in, and that feeling in their body has kept accruing, and it's accruing more and more evidence into the subconscious mind as to why it may be true. So the more you've accrued, the bigger this pot has gotten, the more you actually have to look inside to find the key moments in your life to release, so that it can release the rest of those moments that you've held on to. Right? If you've had a life that hasn't been so traumatic, a quote-unquote easier life, right? That's a relative easier life. You won't have to go so deep, because your perceptions, your expectations of life are not that of the person who has been beat up until they said to themselves over and over again, life is too difficult, I want to die. So your perceptions, your emotions can just be acknowledged, right, as you come along. Right? So if you're really more clear, you can just simply acknowledge what's going on inside of you. For me, it's finding a thought, feeling, sensation combination. Look to my other videos if you want to know what that is. Acknowledge it, bring it up to the surface, so your body doesn't have to hold on to it. Remember, you and your agreement, your body said, I will hold on to this until you're ready to face it. Right? Even the little things. The more you release the little things, the more those little things don't have to accumulate. So again, that spectrum. The more you do it, the more crap, technical term, that you've held on to, the more involved your healing processes have to be. The less, or I should say, the more clear you are, the less involved your healing processes have to be. Just let me take a look at my notes. Okay, so you always want to start off with what's accessible. Too many times there'll be some therapies out there that always want to go straight to the root, right? Break in there and just slam into whatever's in the subconscious mind so they can rip it out. Woo! Yeah, you know, I mean, you know, trust me when I tell you this. Your body will bring up to the surface what needs to be healed. You don't have to look for it. Honestly, you really don't have to look for it. Your body will bring it up to the surface. Your body is a magnificent, magnificent being. It's an amazing piece of, and this isn't a great word to describe it, but it's the word I have now. It's an amazing piece of machinery. It's connected to the universe, and that your body wants you to stay connected to the universe. So we use what it naturally brings up to the surface. You don't have to sit here and go, if you're feeling good, and you're feeling pretty good, and you're going, oh, I feel pretty good today, let me find out what's inside of me. Let me find out why I'm having this particular behavior, right? Let me look deep inside and let me see why I have this addiction to soda. Why I have this addiction to soda? If you're feeling good, enjoy the good moment. Be peaceful with it. Enjoy it, right? But if your body is bringing something opposite than you feeling good, then you look into it. But you don't need to force yourself to look into what's bad if you're already feeling good. Hopefully that makes sense. Trust me, your body will bring it up to the surface at the right time. Trust me, it will. Right? You do have to have a keen sense, though, of checking into the body. And that's another video for another time. So let's say you're driving. I know a lot of people like to use the example of driving because that's when a lot of things come up. We're in that quote-unquote trance-like state. We're more inward, right? Even though things are happening inside of us, we could do that, you know, without even thinking about it. For me, it's when I'm in the shower. When I'm in the shower, all of a sudden things flood up to the surface, right? So I actually do a lot of emotional releasing in the shower, or when you wake up, right? Because your mind hasn't fully waken up, but you're still kind of in and out. A memory comes up, an image comes up, a metaphor comes up, a feeling comes up, an emotion, a scene comes up, or scene, memory is the same thing. And it comes up, and all of a sudden your body goes, oh, it's not feeling calm anymore, right? Your body's not at peace anymore. That's your body saying, whoa, you just noticed something, or you're thinking about something that needs to be brought up to the surface. It needs to be looked at, and it needs to be cleansed. Remember, the more you've held on to crap, the more involved your releases are going to have to be. If all of a sudden somebody just cuts you off, but you don't have a proclivity to tearing somebody's head off because they disrespected you, if they just cut you off and you're like, oh, that kind of stinks, you know. If it's just more on the surface, then just look at it. Notice the thought, notice your feeling, notice the sensation inside your body, and chances are that alone will release that particular event in your life, right? But again, the more you've held on to things, the deeper you're involved and more involved your release will have to be. If that person cuts you off, and the next thing you know, you're sitting here going, that mother effer, I can't stand it, and your body's getting hot and it's getting red, chances are you're going to have to look inside to see where that came from, and not necessarily see all the events that have made it happen together, but to look inside deeply at whatever you're repressing and holding on to. And when you allow that to come up, naturally what's going to happen, it's going to make you think of other scenes, other memories, other events. You don't necessarily have to buy into those events. Work on the particular feeling, the sensation, or the emotion that's most valid, right? And again, there are many different modalities of releasing now. I can't even, you know, there's so many, from primal therapy, beating, to tapping, to meditating, to matrix, through all these different forms. And in all honesty, guys, to me, it's all the same, really. It's just about checking into the body. If you want to get really simple about this, it's just about checking in the body, find the thought, feeling, sensation combination. That's it. Because they all do the same thing. But anyway, so you're going to check in, you're going to find the most valid situation. Again, as you're moving through, as you're meditating, right? If you're beating a pillow, as you're beating a pillow, all these memories will flood up to the surface. Don't buy into them. That's the trickiest part, probably one of the hardest things for my clients to get, is not to buy into, because they're looking into it and go, oh my gosh, this. Okay, where's it going to go now? Instead of staying in the moment of releasing the thought, feeling, sensation combination. Really quickly, it's the thought, the feeling, the emotion, and the sensation inside your body. Just stay with that. It's present, right? Mostly stay with your body, because your body will be present at this moment. It'll stay grounded to the present moment, but your thoughts and your feelings may be somewhere else, right? So bring it all together right here in this moment. And naturally, as you're meditating on it, as you're beating it, as you're tapping on it, other memories will come up. Again, don't buy into it. What your subconscious mind, what your body's doing, even on some level your conscious mind is doing, it's bringing it all up to the surface to finally be released, because you're now acknowledging it, right? So if that particular feeling, it brings up another memory, an emotion, a scene, a situation, a thought, but if those extra thoughts, feelings, sensations, emotions aren't greater than the one you're already working on, then they're just afterthoughts. I explained this in another video. They're just aftershocks to the earthquake. Just keep tapping, just keep meditating, just keep focusing on the body, keep beating the pillow if that's what it is, until the sensations dissipate. Right? And there's a couple things I do after this with clients to help kind of switch it around. Right? After you release it all, you want to break the meaning that you created with those perceptions, and then after you break the meaning that you created with those perceptions, you want to turn it around, right? You want to flip the light switch on and find out what your spirit wanted underneath all that, underneath all that your body was holding on to. So, okay, so remember, so after you finish a round, you don't have to reach for it. It'll come up naturally. After you finish a round, you don't have to look for it, because trust me again, the body will bring up what it needs to bring up organically, right? So again, so if you finish around and memories, thoughts, and sensations are going to come up, and that's going to happen naturally because that's just momentum at this point. But if those memories, scene situations, events are you can feel them. Are they fading? Are they actually fading? They're moving out. Your body's starting to catch up. Energy's starting to move. Or has a particular part of your body clenched onto something else, and it's now bigger than the original combination that you're working on. If it's bigger than the original combination, then yeah, chase it, right? But don't buy into it. You found it. Bring that up to the surface. Release it through whatever release mode you're doing. And trust me, while you're doing the release mode, don't look for anything, because trust me again, the body will bring up something if it needs to. Let that dissipate, then check in with the body again. If it's calm, you don't have to look for anything. You don't have to try and create anything, right? Go on with your day, or do the little flip switch technique that I have, but that's another video for another time, right? Or come to one of our webinars, come to one of our seminars. I'm very quite possibly, knock on wood, going out to Portugal, right, to teach. So all you people on that end of the world, right, come check me out. Get a hold of, I'll actually post all the information of the person that you need to get a hold of underneath this video. Now, okay, here's something that's really important, and this video is a lot longer than I anticipated, but it's some really important stuff. Be aware when the technique you are using is being used as a way to stuff the feeling down even more. Okay? Even something I teach you, you don't want to get addicted to, right? Because you can convince yourself that a particular technique is working for a short period of time. The conscious mind is that strong. I know we always talk about the subconscious in the hypnosis world, but the conscious mind is so strong you can slap a lid on top of the feeling that you're feeling at any particular moment in time because you don't want to feel it. Right? So a lot of spiritual bypassers will do this. They'll try to be spiritual about it, and they'll try to ignore the anger that's coming up, and they'll say, oh, but I'm calm. Oh, but I'm so spiritual and I love the world, right? Or if you're meditating and you're focusing in on it and something's building up, but you're thinking to yourself, oh, but I'm meditating, so it should be dissipating. And the conscious mind, for a short period of time, will be able to push that back down, because that's what the conscious mind has the ability to do. Some tappers, some tappers, EFTers out there will tap on something, and the feeling will be coming up, and they're going, oh, but I've seen other people do this technique, so the body should be relaxing now. And the body starts, at least for that short term, starts dissipating. Be very aware. You've got to have a very, very personal relationship with your body to listen to it. Right? Be honest, be authentic with your body, and truly listen and check in. Right? Don't use a technique. Be aware when you're using a technique to stuff feeling downs even more, because temporarily it will look good, but trust me, the body will bring up to the surface again what needs to be healed. It's just the way we were built, that we are built. So again, the trick to this whole thing, especially if you're too caught up in the thoughts, you're too caught up in emotions, always ground yourself first by checking in with the body. The body's so key. I talk about that a lot. If you want to learn more about it, again, check my website, either mattcson.com, theperfectaffirmation.com, regression-hypnotherapy.com, or check this blog. Check this blog. Check the blogs. I will have, usually on this blog, theperfectaffirmation.com blog, theperfectaffirmation.com / what's the name of that slash? I can't think of it. Blog, right? On the bottom right-hand side of your screen, there will be events that I will have coming up. Bless you all, and have a spiritual day, but with practicality.